Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Silver's Edge, where we explore everything gaming. Today, we're diving into something that's been happening right under our noses, the rise of indie games. While the big AAA studios are stumbling with buggy launches, lack of innovation, and an obsession with microtransactions, indie developers, small teams, and sometimes even solo creators are delivering some of the most exciting, innovative, and beloved games out there. So, how did indie games go from niche projects to stealing the spotlight? What are they doing right that AAA studios just can't seem to figure out? Well, in this video, we're breaking down how small studios are outshining the big guys and why indie games are taking over. Let's get into it. Section 1, the AAA struggle. To understand why indie games are thriving, we first need to take a look at what's happening on the AAA side of things. Over the last few years, we've seen big studios struggle to deliver on their promises. Games are released broken, unfinished, or packed with microtransactions that frustrates players. Take Cyberpunk 2077 for example. It was hyped up for years, but when it finally launched, it was a buggy mess, especially on older consoles. Players felt betrayed after years of promise about this massive immersive world. And they weren't alone. AAA games like Anthem and Battlefield 2042 had similar disastrous launches with technical problems and missing content that left fans disappointed. On top of that, the constant push for the live service models, microtransactions, and pay-to-win mechanics in AAA games have really damaged the trust between players and developers. AAA studios are so focused on maximizing profits that they've forgotten what makes game fun in the first place. And this is where folks indie games are stepping up, filling the gap left by AAA's focus on cash grabs and blockbuster titles, and players are noticing. Section 2, Innovation and Creative Freedom. One of the biggest reasons indie games are outshining AAA titles is innovation. Indie developers, often working in small teams or even solo, have the creative freedom to take risks and experiment with new ideas. They don't have to play it safe like the big studios that are tied down by massive budgets, shareholders, and marketing teams. Look at a game like Undertale. It didn't just flip the RPG genre on its head. It created a whole new kind of experience. You could talk your way out of battles, and your choices had a deep impact on the world and the story. And then there's the Stanley Parable, a game that pokes fun at the very idea of choice in video games. These are the concepts that AAA studios wouldn't touch because they're seen as too risky. And then you have Hades, which took the roguelike genre, a notorious difficult and niche genre, and made it accessible to a wide audience by weaving in a rich, evolving narrative. Every time you die in Hades, the story moves forward, making you want to come back for more. It's these kind of creative risks that are resonating with players who are tired of the old formulas coming out of the AAA industries. Compare that to AAA games, how many Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty games have we seen over the years? Don't get me wrong, these games have their place, but the constant stream of sequels with little innovation is leaving a lot of players wanting something new. Section 3, Passion over Profit. Another reason indie games are thriving is because they're often made by developers who are driven by passion, not profits. These developers aren't just making games to hit sale targets, they're making games they love, and that passion shines through in every aspect of their work. Let's take Stardew Valley for example. This game was made by one person, Eric Baroni, over the course of several years. He did everything, the art, the code, the music, because he was passionate about creating the ultimate farming sim, and it shows. Stardew Valley is a game that's packed with charm, depth, and level of care that you don't often see in AAA games. And then you have Celeste, a platformer that's not only about tight, challenging gameplay but also about personal struggles with anxiety and self-doubt. These are the stories that come from the heart, and that's what sets indie games apart. They don't have to appeal to everyone, they just have to appeal to the right people. When you play an indie game, you can feel the love and passion that went into it. It's not just about hitting sale targets or pumping out yearly releases, it's about getting something meaningful, and then something players are connecting with in a big way. Section 4, Player-centric design and community engagement. Another big reason indie games are thriving is their focus on players, not shareholders. Indie developers often have a direct connection with their community. They're active on social media, they engage with their fans on platforms like Discord, and they often rely on player feedback to improve their games. Take Hollow Knight for example. It started as a crowdfunded project and the developers, Team Cherry, kept their backers involved every step of the way. They listened to players' feedback, made adjustments, and kept the community updated throughout the development. The result? One of the most beloved indie games of all time. But look at Among Us, a game that went largely unnoticed until it blew up thanks to streamers and the community. When it did, the developers leaned into that momentum, responding to feedback and making updates that kept players engaged. That direct connection with the player base builds trust and loyalty. When players feel like they've heard, they're more likely to support indie developers and spread the word about their games. It's a relationship that goes beyond just selling a product. It's about building a community. Section 5. Lower budgets, bigger ideas. Now let's talk about budgets. Indie games might not have the massive budgets of AAA titles, but that's actually an advantage. Smaller teams and lower cost indie developers can focus on delivering quality experiences instead of getting bogged down by the pressure to recoup billions in development and marketing costs. Take Cuphead for example. It's a game that took years to develop because of its beautiful hand-drawn animation. Despite the small team and limited budget, Cuphead became a massive success, praised for its art style, challenging gameplay, and overall creativity. It's a proof that you don't need AAA money to make a hit game, you just need a good idea and the dedication to see it through. And this happens again and again in the indie space. Games like Dead Cells and Hollow Knight may not have the biggest budgets, but they deliver polished, engaging experiences that rival anything coming out of the AAA studios. In fact, the smaller budgets often mean they can take bigger risks. There's less at stake, so they can experiment more with gameplay, art, and story. Conclusion. So why indie games outshining AAA studios? Well, it's because they're driven by passion, not profits. They prioritize innovation over playing it safe. They're deeply connected with their communities, and they don't need massive budgets to create unforgettable experiences. While AAA games often feel like they're made by a committee, indie games feel like they're made by people who truly love what they're doing. In today's gaming landscape, that's what players are looking for. But what do you think? Are indie games the future of gaming? What's your favorite indie games that deserve more attention? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more gaming content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, stay silver.